Ladies and gentlemen, Truth
Hello.
Behind Illusion, episode number 7. At our new day and time. Well, not time, but new day. Monday nights. So if you are first time listening or watching this, we are live on these platforms, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch, every Monday night at 9 o'clock. If you would like to follow us, please check the links below. We are a part of the Iwep network, which is down on the bottom over there. If you search the IWEP network, we have 6 different shows on this network. Yeah. Out of the 6, 4 of them are live weekly shows. So Monday nights is Truth Behind Illusion at 9 o'clock. Tomorrow night at 9 o'clock will be Not Cool in High School podcast, which is like pop culture and video games and all that fun stuff.
All that nerdy fun
Wednesday
stuff.
night is free, but that you may see interviews pop up there, or when the football season starts, that may be Bros on the Warpath. That may show up on Wednesday nights, depending on how that works out. That's to be announced. Let's find out what's going on there. Thursday night is Tornado Tag Podcast, which is our wrestling show. Wednesday
all the
night,
wrestling fans out there.
Thursday night's 9 o'clock, and then Friday night is Banging Beers Podcast, and that is Banging Beers, and that has a whole new life to it now. So that's at 9 o'clock on Friday nights, and that's where we review beers. And so that is and then we have interviews with everyday people that we do. We have conversation with people. I did take a little bit of a break with that. I had a little bit like a mental hiatus block thing, and people
You do a lot, so mental hiatuses are good.
Yeah, but I think a lot of people were like confused by it. They're like, well, you're saying you're taking a break from interviews, but you're still doing 4 weekly live shows. And I'm like, well, interviews is more or less like I have to count on myself.
Yeah.
And the other ones is like, it's like a team
Like a
effort.
team,
And I feel like if I cancel a show, I'm letting people down, and I don't want to do that. So it kind of like forces me to like get over it, which is helpful to me sometimes.
Right. But I mean, if there's ever a time, like mental health first. So
But I think for me, canceling it and then sitting there and not doing it is worse for me than just forcing myself.
I understand that.
Yeah, I think
completely.
that's kind of my move there. So yeah, and then also below we do have our merchandise. You can grab some T-shirts and hoodies and all that really, really fun stuff. If you are here, hit that share button. Let people know that you're watching this. Share it on your Facebook, your everything else like that. A lot of people watch this. We have, I think the last couple episodes had like over 200 views, which is great. But the thing is, our Facebook pages are really lacking. We need some likes on there. So follow us on Facebook. Join the Facebook group.
Start some conversations. Tell us your own ghost stories. Tell us your own fun stuff. Like that group is designed for you guys, and then for us to like check out and see and possibly add into further episodes.
Yeah,
so.
you guys absolutely kill it on the comment side of things, where you guys comment and hang out with us. Oh, Jen with the share. Thank you, Jen.
Oh, thank you.
There it is. See, your name pops up and cool things happen when you hit share. But yes, hang out with us. Let people know this is a thing. Word of mouth is how these podcasts grow, and that's the big thing. I mean, people can go and pay for Google Ads and make your numbers look great, but it's not genuine. If everything just goes by word of mouth and people are like, hey, there's this cool supernatural podcast in our area, and if we're not even from your area, you can still follow along.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of fun, man. So hit up those comment sections too. We'll read them along, and we'll have some fun tonight. Tonight episode, I have been obsessed with this. The Dybbuk box.
Yeah.
So I didn't know anything about this. You and Andy were talking about it.
Yeah, Andy's the one that actually brought it up. So thank you, Andy, even though you're not here today. Thank you.
Andy's here in spirit. Get it? Andy is switching every week for this show and Not Cool in High School, because he does this show, Not Cool in High School, and Tornado Tag.
He's the GOAT.
So he's like me. He's doing a lot of things. So he switches off and on. So one week he'll be here, the next week he's not. We are open to tables for people to hang out and join us.
Yeah, hang out with us.
If you are really passionate about a ghost story or a cryptid or anything like that, you guys can come hang out.
Yeah, that would be so fun.
And you can come and talk spooky stuff with us.
Yeah. We can make that podcast about you and your stories. Man.
Yeah, and we officially just booked our first road show. So we booked the house in Gettysburg.
We did.
So we're gonna go to Gettysburg sometime in the near future, and we're gonna do a live show. Well, I don't know if it'll be live. Depending,
we'll have to check the Wi-Fi connection.
It might not be live, but we will be doing a show recorded in Gettysburg, and then we will air it. You may get like a double. 1 week, you might have a double episode you can watch.
I know we said we weren't going to do ghost hunting stuff, but a part of me wants to just like
try it
out. So if you guys have any questions you want us to ask the ghost in our house, leave them in the comments.
I did download an app that's like a spirit box.
Necrophonic.
I'm going to try it, but I also want to see how much an actual ghost box costs.
Oh, there are some really nice ones. I would go
I
50. I would go 50 with you on those because
Yeah.
the good ones are pretty expensive because they're all handmade.
I don't want the ones that are like that are
No,
super,
there are
super
ones
loud.
there are ones. I'll send you some links to some. There are the ones that obviously like it goes through like the
Yeah.
like the radio frequencies, but then there are the actual like spirit boxes that are like built and they have wires coming out where it has that.
I want something portable.
It has, well, I mean, they can be, I'll carry it on my back. But there are those ones that, like, it's set up to have, like, those little, like, ghost boxes through it, but it takes out that annoying frequency where it just comes through as the voice.
I don't
It's
want the
crazy.
frequencies.
Oh, hi, chat.
You don't have to hunt for ghosts in Gettysburg. They show up without you asking. Cool.
Perfect.
That's what I want.
Perfect.
That is freaking awesome. Congratulations. Honestly, I think this is my favorite podcast. Look at that.
Yeah, who is that?
Alexis. She's been a day oneer. She's been
Alexis.
supporting the show. I think our youngest fan, but she's been supporting the network for a long time. So for her to like the new show, she's into it. Once again, I want to thank you to our last episode, Mary McHale, my aunt.
Oh yeah.
She hit me up with our first podcast donation.
Wow,
so
that
she
was
went in the links
incredible.
below. She's seen the PayPal thing and she donated and. First time in 2 years. We've been doing this for 2 years. The first time we ever got a donation. So people, I mean, I
Mary,
personally,
thank you.
I say,
I'm still making that puppy ears a cryptid.
Yeah, so she's getting her puppy made into a cryptid. But I personally would rather you buy a T-shirt, but donations are cool too. It helps us grow. We are looking to get equipment here and there. Not so much ghost gun equipment, just to make the podcast look and sound better. But so tonight is the Dybbuk box.
Yes.
We're gonna get into this. If you do know what the Dybbuk box is, we will try to not bore you too much with it, but we are going to be doing the history and the research of what we think. I think the open-minded skeptic's definitely going to come out this episode.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. On my end, too, actually.
Yeah?
A little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, I still fully believe in the idea of it, but from how it's been portrayed in pop culture, I'm nervous.
I
don't know.
I'm nervous on how it goes. So, if you guys, what do you guys know of the Dybbuk box? Have you guys done any research? Are you coming into this completely dark? What are your takes on this? What are you coming in this episode with any research? We did put it out there on social media, and we said on Instagram and Facebook, like, what is this box? And people right away were like, ooh, the Dybbuk box.
I saw that people were they were just like, oh, it's the Dybbuk box.
So we put teasers out there. Instagram has been doing really well.
Nice.
We're only at like 60 some followers, but I mean, people are really interacting and following on there, which is super cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, so all that fun stuff out of the way. Do you wanna jump into your story of the Dybbuk box here?
Yeah, sure. So the Dybbuk box is of the Jewish culture, and the Dybbuk. Oh, what do we have right there? Is another share?
Oh yeah, thank you for the share.
Oh, thank you. I always like to make it a point to. But the Dybbuk box is from Jewish culture, and the Dybbuk is actually known. It comes from a Yiddish term from Dybbuk or something along those lines. I hope I'm not being rude or anything, but it's the term is to attach or to hold on to, and so the Dybbuk has become like the archetype for like a very evil or malicious spirit that people have been debating throughout the years, whether it's just a malicious spirit or if it's actually a demon. And so the Dybbuk box is actually the idea of like it was first portrayed in like whatever, but it was found as an old wine box, and it has certain things in it where it's just like a dried rosebud and the word shalom on it in Hebrew text and other things where it just basically it was like the hub for this Dybbuk or evil spirit. And then whoever has the box has these crazy things happen to them. People get sick. A lot of people they like lose weight because they get really, really sick and anemic, or they pass out, or like other demonic things and ghost stuff happen to them, like things move in the house and all sorts of like crazy stuff like that.
Weird smells.
Weird smells is another one, yeah.
I do have the story if you'd like me to
Sure.
dive in. So as the story goes, the first Dybbuk box appeared in 2003 when an antique store owner, Kevin Manis, bought a vintage wine box from a 103-year-old Holocaust survivor via eBay, an online auction marketplace. After a string of unexplained hauntings, including reoccurring nightmares, unexplained bruises, and the stench of ammonia, which was almost described
that's right,
as
cat pee.
Cat pee.
That's right.
Where am I at now? The box soon found its way onto eBay, and after a few ownership swaps, landed in the hands of the current foster parent, Jason Haxon, the director of the museum of the. I can't pronounce this, but it's a dude from Ghost Adventures, and he paid $208 from the artifact in 2004 on eBay. He's not fazed by the box, and he has done a bunch of things. I don't want to jump too far into that web yet. But this box has implications to the rapper Post Malone.
Posty. I love him.
It has been done in a form of a movie, one of the Possession movies, where the father goes and finds this box at a yard sale, and they did a loosely based thing off it. But yeah, so let's see here. The box is bought in an estate sale. So here's where it gets weird. So he said he bought it on eBay, right? So he says, I bought it in an estate sale in 2001. It had belonged to the survivor of a Holocaust in Poland. But then he went and said she was from Spain, or she moved to Spain then. Named Haliva, I'm sorry, I'm probably not saying that right, who escaped, she escaped to Spain to purchase it there before immigrating to the United States. Her granddaughter told Manus that the box had been brought from Spain after the Holocaust. Upon hearing that the box is family heirloom, he thought the box was a family heirloom. He offered to give the box back to the family, but the granddaughter insisted that he take it, saying that the family did not want the box. She told him the box had been kept in her grandmother's sewing room and was never opened because the Dybbuk said to live inside of it. Upon opening the box, Manus wrote what he found that contained two 1920 pennies, a lock of blonde hair bound with a cord, a lock of brown blackish hair bound with a cord, a small statue engraved with a Hebrew word shalom, a small golden wine goblet, one dried rose bud, and a single candle holder with 4 octopus-shaped legs. Numerous owners of the box have reported that strange phenomena would accompany it. Manus wrote that he experienced horrific nightmares and shared with other people that were possessed with that had possession of the box. They would, when they would stay at his home, or his mother suffered a stroke. So one of the things I found out, this is not on the Wikipedia, is he got the box, he opened it in his store, and he left to go do something, and the woman that was working at the store with him said something ran in the store and was destroying things, and she couldn't make out what it was, and it ran down the basement. And he then came into the shop and found her cuddled, like hiding in the office, and terrified, and she wouldn't speak of what she saw or what she experienced. She left and never returned again, and she was working for him for 2 years. He went down the basement because that's where she said it ran, and there's no way out of the basement once you go down there. All the light bulbs were smashed out.
Interesting.
And a very strong odor of cat pee, like ammonia. And then he said he cleaned up the box, and then he tried to he gave it to a few of his family members, and then the family members all returned it shortly after with no explanation, just said that they don't want it. And then he tried to give it to his mother, and his mother opened the box while she was at the store and suffered a stroke in the store.
Yeah.
She won't really go into detail what she experienced, but she said she felt pure evil, and whatever it was put her in a paralysis, which then caused the stroke. Then I guess the whole family got together and had a conversation, and they said that they all had the same dream of a woman, like a hag, they described here, and that she would just beat the shit out of them in her dream, and then they'd have the smell of a jasmine or a smell of urine, like the cat urine, and they would be attacked by this woman in their dreams, and then they would wake up with scratches and bruises and stuff on them. So then he then contacted the one sister, and then the sister was like, they pretty much all said they had the exact same dream without even talking to each other, is the story. And then he went and he tried to sell it on eBay. That's when it got popular because the eBay listings like went viral, where he was trying to sell this on eBay. And then the gentleman from Ghost Hunters then picked it up. Let's see what else it says here. So I'm not going to try to pronounce the name because it's insane, but a student at Truman University in Missouri was the last person on the auction the box, and claimed the box caused lights to burn out, cut out in his house, his hair to fall out, and so somebody else has been following the blogs. I'm just kind of skimming through here. So a lot of this is different. This was not told on this dude's documentary that I watched, which is funny. Then after the guy sold it to this person, then it went back on on sale, and then Zach Baggins of Ghost Adventures decided to buy it and display it in his museum in Las Vegas. The cabinet does have in the back of it Shima carved into the back of it. The dimensions are 12 by 5, 12 by 5, 12 and a half by 7.5 by 16 and 16 and a quarter. So the way the box is it's a wine box. So when you open the bottom drawer or any of the doors, it's a mechanism that all three doors open at the same time. All the contents were inside of it, and then that's pretty much the layout of the box. Does anyone here in the chat watch Ghost Adventures? And if you do, are you fans? Or what is your thoughts on Ghost Adventures? Because I was into this story. I was all about it. Thought this was awesome. And then I watched Ghost Adventures. And immediately after the episode, I was like, I would lick that fucking box. Because I don't believe a fucking thing about it.
If it is completely, because I was talking to Tony before the podcast started, saying that I totally believe in the idea of, I used my coffee cup as an example. Like, if I had the intent to muster up all of the evil parts of my shadow self and put this into this cup in the intention that I wanted to harm somebody, I believe that the mind is able to do that. So I totally believe in the Dybbuk box, and I believe in the history of it and the malicious spirit and whatnot. And then it's like somebody like Zach Bagans gets a hold of it, and it's just like, fuck. It's like, damn it, because no self-respecting. I'm sorry.
If you're a fan, we apologize.
I'm so sorry.
We're about to go. Look at the viewers dropping.
I know, right?
How dare you?
But it's like no, because he's such a tool, man.
He is. That's exactly the word I said.
And that's the tool. That's the term that my mom uses too. It's a very entertaining show.
Yeah.
It's a very entertaining show when it comes to actually like being a person that loves like ghosts and everything, where he's just like, I was possessed by a demon and blah 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 blah, where I'm just like, okay. And so now he has the original Dybbuk box.
So I watched the show, and he talks a little bit about Manus' story and how he came across it, and then he then goes into a whole new story that after hours of watching YouTube videos and reading and researching all this. Then all of a sudden, he gets a hold of this box, and a whole new story develops from this. So now this Holocaust survivor took this demon and split it up into 10 different boxes and put them all over the world. She shipped them all over the world, but decided to keep the one that contained the evil essence of the box.
She decided to keep it.
Yes. Now all of a sudden,
after her stroke.
Yes. No, not the one who took the stroke. The Jewish lady who then.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah. The one that facilitated the box.
So then it turned into, instead of one Dybbuk box, there's 10. Now Manus, the guy who owned the antique store, is now this huge ghost dude, and he owns, I think, 7 or 6 of the boxes. Ghost Adventure dude owns 2 of the boxes, and he won't sell any of the other boxes to the Ghost Adventure dude because he thinks if they all are together and they're open at the same time, it can put the demon back together, and then he can rule. Or he can be manifested.
That sounds like a great future episode of Ghost Adventures.
Yes,
that's the first thing that came to my mind. Where it's just like, wow, how many
but
viewers?
There's one box they cannot find in the world. So it seems like a little bit of a build-up, if you ask me.
What Expedition Unknown's going to take that one?
Yeah.
We found the Dybbuk box.
Yeah, and then he's gonna be like, "Oh, I want to buy it for my museum." So he listen. If he ever comes across this, prove me wrong. I'll come to your fucking thing.
Yeah. I totally believe. In
I
the
want to
history
believe
of
him,
it.
but I just feel like he's
like Mulder. I want to believe
he's putting the wrong image out. I feel.
I absolutely agree.
If I'm a skeptic, he's not selling me at all.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm not saying that people that believe in the spiritual should actively go out and try to use what they have in the knowledge to prove other people wrong, because I feel like that's a really bad route to get into. It's like, because it's a very defeating process. I've tried to do that in the past, and it's a very defeating process. So nobody has to do anything to convince people, but at the same time, I would if I had a show, I would want to be as even keeled and not like Halloweeny as possible, because I would want to spread the word so much.
Well, one of the things he does in every single thing I ever watched with him with his museum is he invites.
Oh, wow.
I'll read that in 1 second. He invites like news reporters, like the guy from ET, to come to his thing, and he'll be like, "Now this is the chair, the devil's rocking chair, and it was used in this exorcism. They're gonna use the next Conjuring movie after this exorcism, and you should touch it." And I never let anyone touch it, but I think you should touch. Oh, because he brought his ET cameras.
Because he brought the camera.
He should be the one to touch it, or like. I have my friend Post Malone here, and I never want to open the box until my Halloween special with this episode. But I'm gonna touch the box because Post Malone's here.
And then he gets possessed, and Post Malone gets really freaked out.
Yeah, and then he gets possessed and falls over, and Post Malone's like legit worried about the guy because he's a good human.
And then he won't. And I saw that, and the first thing I said is, Post won't leave a homie behind, because it's like he didn't run out. He was like, oh no, I got to get my friend.
So he touches the box. If you there's footage of it. The guy touches the box and he just freezes. And then Post Malone's like, "Hey, you ready to like get the fuck out of here?" And then the guy just holding his hand in the box, just staring at Post. And Post goes up and like shakes him, like, "Are you okay?" Then the guy like throws himself into the wall and starts crying or whatever. And Post Malone's like, "All right, man, let's like
oh shit!"
Instead of running like a normal,
he goes to the door and he's like, "Let's go." And then he sees he's not coming, and Post is like, "Oh, okay," and like grabs him and like throws him out. I'm just like, "Oh, good guy, Post."
So how we said this connects to Post Malone, because I think this guy kind of maybe egged more of it on towards Post Malone. Post Malone, after this incident, said he was in a plane accident. He was in a plane crash where his landing gear didn't come down, and they almost had a really catastrophic thing happen. But it's luckily nothing bad. He was in a pretty rough car accident where it could have been a lot worse than what it was. But and then his house is broken into. But I don't think anything was stolen. I just think maybe things were destroyed. I don't remember. But he had 3 really weird occurrences that he chalks up to maybe this Dybbuk box giving him this. Now, it also could be absolute coincidence. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it could. I mean,
but
I'm not one for coincidence, but I understand.
But the guy from ET was there one day, and he was like, the guy was like, "Oh, I think my back hurts," because they were talking about this chair and how it can make people have bad back. And he's like, "Oh, that's cool, man. That's real cool that your back's hurting." Like, I was like, what?
That's messed up. And like you said, like when he was telling the ET, just touch it, just touch it. As someone who is like versed in that, like not saying like I'm a professional by any means, but it's like knowing that like this might have negative implications to somebody, I would not, even for the sake of one view, be like, yeah, I never let anybody touch this, but because it's known to be really spooky and like hurt you, like go ahead and touch it. Never in a million years.
And then the guy tried to be funny because he's like scared, obviously, and he's like, "I'll touch it." "Nope, I'm not touching it." And then he goes, "Well, you just taunted the chair now, so now you have to touch it." But you've been making a joke of the whole chair for him to touch the whole time.
Yeah.
And then during the whole Dybbuk box episode, he goes, and it's on. If you have Hulu, you can go on and watch this episode. It's actually very recent. He did it during the quarantine. But let me read this real quick. I can't remember if it was Ghost Hunters or not, but those shows did a story about a place that was haunted in Scottstown here in PA. I was up there for the sale, but it was never sold, so they knocked it down. I can't remember the name of the place. I have to look it up, but it was a good episode, though. Interesting.
Oh, cool.
I don't know anything about that, but this episode, he now is, he's doing the whole thing, and he's telling the audience that's watching, he's like, the only reason I'm opening in this box is because I feel I have the strength to conquer this demon, and I feel I have control over it.
He's got a weird...
But then the whole episode was how he was possessed, and the spirit was making him say and do mean things to his friends. Like, he pushed his friend in the episode, and then he was, like, possessed, and he was drumming on the tables, and I was just like, this is stupid. Like, I didn't buy any of it. And then all of a sudden, when he had possession of the box, then all of a sudden, a black specter, a hooded character, then started making appearances, and he believes that is what the box brought with it. So if the demon, the only thing about this demon is his evil essence is in the hold on, your podcast ended. That's strange.
Podcast ended?
I really hope not. That would suck. Yeah, it ended at 24 minutes.
Oh shit.
Hold on. Sorry guys, it's just a quick. I want to see if it's still live on See, it never said anything on my end that it ended.
Yeah. It was the ghost, the Dybbuk.
All right, we'll end here quick. I don't want to do it because it's gonna be a 2-part thing then. Fuck. We're just gonna give him the replay. We'll give him the replay later.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we're already rolling here.
Yeah. That's okay.
Yeah. So
It was the Dybbuk. It was the
Dybbuk. The Dybbuk, the ghost hunter guy. Yeah. So everything. I don't know why I did that. That's spooky.
Spooky.
Yeah. We'll put the replay up then.
Mm-hmm.
But so now it's saying it's back on because we have one viewer. I don't know.
I don't know, man. Who knows?
Who knows? But yeah. So he was, and then like the one part of the episode, the dude like touches the box and then he walks to the other room and passes out. But it's the slowest pass I've ever seen in my life. Like he fell so nicely.
I remember you saying it was like.
Yeah. It was just. I don't know, man. It was not. I watched it and I was very disappointed.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, maybe I can like kind of watch Ghost Adventures for some ideas for the show. Like, and I'm like, no,
I would. Yeah.
I'm not using. I
used to watch it all the time, but then it got. I think when it first came out, it had good intentions because it was a 3-man crew. It was him, Aaron, and then another guy that isn't in the current group.
Yeah.
But he was really calm and he was just kind of there. He was like the tech guy.
Yeah.
And he was like there and then like he just kind of like up and like stopped at some point and then he like had his own show and then it didn't really do well. So it's just like I wonder if he realized like as like it took off and like and like the network got more involved and was just like we got to make it bigger and better than ever. And like he was like I don't know about this.
It's like when reality TV starts as a reality show and then it turns into complete horseshit because they have to start scripting everything.
Yeah, absolutely. And so this guy who maybe just was in for it for the actual like knowledge and like experimentation of it to see like to find the truth.
Yeah.
And then they're just like staging shit and they're like, nah, I'm out, man.
Yeah. It was I was very disappointed with the whole thing and I was really I don't know, I was bummed about it.
Mm-hmm.
But is there anything else about the box that you've came across or researched or that you had any opinions or views on?
I think because I just go back to for the people that like hear the whole idea of like the Dybbuk box and how it's like spooky and like maybe not real and whatnot. I go back to the idea of intention and the idea like the power of like persuasion of the brain. How like you were saying how the one guy is like the ET guy was like, oh, my back seems to be hurting a little bit. Maybe he was putting that on. Or maybe like...
Well, he told the whole time that everyone who's ever come in contact with a chair or experienced a chair had back problems.
Yeah. So there is that power of persuasion. We had mentioned on before the podcast started about hypnosis. And it's just like that power of persuasion and that power of intention where I'd mentioned like the whole idea of the coffee cup. And then there's the idea of just like, that thing causes this. And then it's like that idea where it's like once you have a bug on you and then all you can feel is the bug.
Yeah.
So it's like, or if it's like, oh, like don't cough anymore. Like don't sneeze and then you sneeze. Where it's like that kind of thing is very, very real. And it's the same thing of the intention. So I think the Dybbuk box is probably very, very real. I'm not about to hop on and like try and buy it and trying to figure it out because I'm enough of a believer in everything to kind of be like, I choose my sovereignty and I don't want to buy that.
And you believe in everything. For you to be having reserves on this, it's like...
Yeah, it's like, no, I'm okay. Like, in my opinion, things are things. And even if someone comes in and says, this is the haunted coffee cup, like, touch it and, like, you'll die. And my whole thing is just like, okay, let's say, worst case scenario, this is haunted and, like, it will kill me. The thing is, if you have a higher understanding of how things work and you say, okay, well, my intention is when I touch this, I'm not going to get anything from it because that's my, like the power of the brain and how intention works.
Yeah.
Somebody could be like, no matter what, this will always be a haunted object. And if you touch it, you will die. And someone could be like, no, I won't.
Well, in Hazelton, there's the concrete couch in the one cemetery that people think if you sit on, you'll get hurt or stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then like people who know are like, dude, I grew up there and we used to fucking walk through the cemetery and take a piss on it. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
It's I don't know. It's just kind of like developing this lore and I think that when people try to glorify it in Hollywood everything, that's when like everything's like, well, if they're bullshitting then everything about the paranormal is bullshit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I like this may be a hot take here, but like I don't buy much of the Warrens. I don't think Ed and Lorraine Warren were legit. I don't. I think and I know a lot of people get upset in the paranormal, like who love the paranormal because they're like the godfathers of the paranormal world. But I think they were a complete con artist.
And I could see when you were talking to me about that, I can see the perspective because I was someone who really followed like Ed and Lorraine Warren. Like, I mean, obviously not in real time because that was in the 60s.
Yeah.
But I've done a lot of research on them and a lot of like their history and everything. But then it's another one of those cases where it's just like she's been on ghost adventures before, like she's done this.
She was alive for most of those movies.
Yeah.
So if she
was in one of the movies.
Yeah. So if she was taking it as serious as she wants that to be, and if Hollywood would have came to her and said, hey, we want to buy the rights to your stories and your movies, but we're going to add a little bit of Hollywood spin to it. I feel if she had credibility and she was like, no, you're going to tell it exactly how it is. Like if somebody was going to do a documentary on the fucking podcast and they're like, we're going to do this thing where we're going to make it like, I'm like, no, keep it the way the fucking.
And Tori got possessed and Anthony was forever changed.
Yeah, like I don't know. Like it just you lose credibility for me for that, and it's something that disappointed me.
Or there could be the complete mashup of those two possibilities where these things really did happen, and she was just like, yeah, sure, put your Hollywood spin on it, that's fine.
Yeah.
And it's like one of those things where you'll never know, but like that's like the whole idea of Hollywood, where it's like you have to understand that if someone's going to buy the rights to this, you have to know that there's an understanding that your story might be twisted for entertainment's sake.
Absolutely. So yeah, I just another example is the Ghost Adventure guy. I kind of was watching some other stuff, and he went to the house from one of the Conjuring movies. I think the second one.
Maybe.
And that house now is owned by a family, and shockingly, that family is also really into the paranormal, and they have a business that they ghost hunt. So they own probably one of the most haunted houses in the world, and they let these YouTube,
which that was set up obviously,
and they let these YouTube kids come in one time and do a video and gave them full access to the house and do all this fun stuff, and these kids walked around this house and had zero experience. And they were super into the paranormal, but they're like,
they didn't get anything.
Nothing. But then the Ghost Adventure goes there for a Halloween night, and all of a sudden people are falling down and the demons are awakened because it's like. So here's a question I have, because you would be more versed with this with me. Is there really a difference if you walk into a location, right, that has a demon or a poltergeist or a ghost or high energies of spirits? Does it matter if it's daytime or nighttime?
Well, yes and no. It depends on the situation, but from what the understanding that I have of the spirit realm is that it's flipped from ours. So if you have spirits there, it's like during the day for us, it's their night. So it's like if I think the majority of spirits or whatnot are imprints, and so they're just like a tape recorder. It just keeps going the same things over and over again that they remember from their past life. So everyone always says it's just like everything's worse at night as opposed to like daytime. And that's just mainly the idea of just because it's their daytime for them. But at the same time, if you have something that's really, really spooky and like something that's really, really powerful, if it were to be more active at nighttime, it would be mainly to play on your fears of because it's dark. Ooh, I'm going to get them.
Exactly.
But at the same time,
all the lights have to be out, because I feel like that's where like a lot of people who are like ghosts are bullshit, this is all fake. That's where people are like, well, why do you have all the lights off? Why do you have to be in the complete darkness? Because you're playing into your own mind.
Yeah.
So a lot of it, like for me, when I experienced or did some ghost hunting stuff when I was younger, or even like now, it's like, all right, the first thing you have to do is you have to conquer your fear of the dark. You have to be willing to walk into somewhere dark. Now, I don't like doing that because I like to know my surroundings, and I want to trip, I don't want to fall.
Yeah.
And I don't like spiders, so I don't want to walk into a fucking creature. You know what I'm saying? Well, not that I don't like spiders. I just don't want to get bit, and I don't know, like, I'm not educated on them, so I don't know if I get bit. I'm like, oh, I'm losing my face tonight. You know what I mean? But like, so I just like, is it more or less you're tricking yourself to be afraid of the dark, and you're in a location that's scary, and that's why the ghosts work better at night? You know what I mean?
Yeah. But to follow up, I really don't think if there's actually something there, you could do like a ghost box session in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening. And if there's something there, there's something there. whether it wants to communicate with you or not, or what it doesn't matter. But it's like it was the idea of the spirit world being opposite of ours. So in our daytime, it's nighttime. So they're resting, and then when they wake up, it's nighttime for us. Like it's the other side of the world.
Yeah. Just if you want to get into something else here, I'm just gonna type to everybody.
Yeah, sure. But a lot of I've definitely had experiences, not like full body apparitions or anything, but I have had experiences that happened to me during the nighttime. But I've also, I've gone to Salem and I've gone to the witch house and I've had experiences. Sorry, as I pick my nose on camera.
Nice.
Or I've been there in the daytime and I have had experiences there. I've had experiences in people's houses during the day. I've had experiences in people's houses during the nighttime. It also depends on how open you are to it. There really is there's no set rule where it says it has to be nighttime in order to communicate with the dead.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's whenever. Like there's really no rule book for the spirit world or whatever, what the astral realm, what have you, the right or wrong way to do ghost hunting or to even be spiritual or be a witch or whatever you want to do. So there's really it's whatever, everything is possible and anything is possible.
Yeah. Yeah, that's where I was like, I don't know, man. That seems like little horseshit to me. But like, if it's if there's definitely ghosts there, and it's like, well, we only see but no, people have experiences during the daytime.
Oh God, yeah.
I think it's creepier if it's broad daylight and you're seeing weird stuff.
Yeah, because that just means okay, something's really happening.
Because people think when the lights are on and it's daytime, you're safe.
They're safe, yeah.
So if you see something then and you're having an experience, it's like, oh. Because anything with night, like when you see a cryptid or you see a UFO or you see something, it's like, well, how much of it was playing into your illusion of the night?
Yeah.
And how much of it was, it was a legit experience,
And then that goes into the idea of I talk about false fortune tellers or people that do things for entertainment and whatnot to play on a human's natural fear of not being able to see your surroundings. And of course, adding into the years of Hollywood and all the wives' tales and folklore about the dark and how scary it is and whatnot. It's very easy to have somebody go into a dark room and hear one person scream and somebody to be like, oh my God, wow, oh my gosh, I feel it. I feel it. And they start to feel that fear.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very easy to manipulate somebody in the dark. It's very easy to manipulate somebody's fears.
The best way to scare your friend is turn the fucking lights off and stuff like that. So, so I wanted to kind of dive into this real quick. So this is from a Reddit post, right? So take it with a grain of salt. It's from Reddit. I've been watching several different ghost shows, including Ghost Adventures, for several years now. On many of them, the story of Kevin Mannis and the Dybbuk box has always appeared. One of the posters says with the comments that the box first appeared in the Paranormal Witness in 2012. I always found the story of the Dybbuk box to be fishy. Many of the details has changed from show to show, and many of them appeared to have been made up or exaggerated for drama effects. But the last episode of Ghost Adventures, Quarantine, really made the story really reek of hoax to me. While some of the story details of the Dybbuk box were changed, generally the key points where Manus' story remained the same. The latest episode, The Quarantine, however, in the time since Zach received the box, Manus since has made up new information about the Dybbuk box story. Instead of there being just one Dybbuk box, which in case Manus has owned the box and now Zach owns, the Manus suddenly has claims to come across 6 more of the boxes, and Zach has bought a second Dybbuk box himself. Manus claimed that instead of just sealing away the demon in one box, the lady bought the original box and used 10 boxes to spirit and seal the demon. Furthermore, there was no prior mention of a tall shadow man with a cape cloak as part of the box's manifestations. Instead, the manifestation was described as an old woman or a hag.
Yeah.
So it went from a hag that everyone's having dream
to
of
a shadow man
to a
top hat.
to a cloaked man.
Yeah.
To me, it just seems like Manus is not only lying to Zach and probably trying to scam Zach by selling him more boxes, but the whole Dybbuk box story attention has made more money. It's designed to make more money on eBay. Now, another thing that's very popular on eBay now in the dark web is people are buying demon boxes or Dybbuk boxes off people on eBay and doing unboxing videos to see if they come across anything.
Yeah.
And a lot of it is probably
they do that whole fad of the let's buy something off of the dark web and see what we get. Please please stop doing that.
Yeah.
You can find dead bodies, like body parts. Like, please stop doing that.
I think the chances are very like. I think if there's a pie chart, I think that it's like a really small sliver that you're actually going to come across a real dead body. I think
true.
a lot of it's just like I'm going to shit in a bag and send it to somebody because they're dumb enough to like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Let's see what it says here. It just seems to me Manus is not only lying to Zach. Just saying here, come across is highly fabricated, and some of the things you might find on something else. So to add to the Manus, since first lifted Dybbuk box for being sale on eBay in 2000, explosion of claimed Dybbuk boxes, clearly scammers, as Manus claims there are only 10 boxes in the world and also have been posted to eBay. So there's only 10 boxes in the world, but now people are selling Dybbuk boxes like crazy. So people are like somehow ghostbustering demons into boxes, and then I'm going to sell this on eBay for money.
Well, and here's the thing. Like, you can't say that there's only 10 in the world.
Mm-hmm.
You can't say that because literally there are haunted objects all the time. There's some old woman that practices like, I don't know, like Santeria. Let me just put a random like spirituality practice like Santeria that has like a necklace or just a random shoebox, and then she puts a curse on it or like whatnot and puts it online. There's a haunted box. Like, you can't say that there's only 10.
Yep.
Or like you can't. Like, you can't do that.
So we were saying before, Manus sold the box on eBay to a kid in Missouri, and then that kid in Missouri sold it to somebody else, and now somehow Jason Haxton has the box, the Ghost Adventure guy. But it says now, like, all of a sudden, he didn't even pay for the box. It was given to him by Manus for free to keep safe. Because he's going to get kickback
from those. Because he's going to get kickback from those episodes. They're in on it.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that I really don't really believe in that is when he says like, "Oh, he scammed Zach." No.
I think they're both doing.
They're in on it. Come on now.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. I usually believe in everything, but when it comes to like natural discernment and not being able to like and seeing the truth behind the illusion,
and that's where I try to come into. Like, I'm not trying to shit on every story, but I am going to research and ask because I'm a why kid. I've always been a why kid my whole life. Like, if someone tells me something like a why. Why? And then they're like, "Fuck this kid, get away from me." You know what I mean? I don't want this kid around anymore.
Because it just is. Leave me alone.
Yeah, exactly. Like, just fucking believe it. Be scared. So yeah, that was a thing for me. It was kind of like I wasn't buying it. You know what I mean? And then when I started digging more, like as I was watching it, I was like, their story's not staying together. I should have been a detective.
You should have been.
I'm Batman. But yeah, like I just felt like it was fishy. And then I was kind of looking at more stuff and reading on eBay and like about the whole thing. And I was like, oh, I'm coming across like people who think the way I think here. And I was just like, interesting. Like I said, if it is true, and I'm, and I don't think Ghost Adventure Dude's ever gonna see this episode because who the fuck
Probably
am I? Not. Enough people share it. They'll be like, "Get this fucking asshole to your museum."
Could you imagine?
He said he'll lick it. And if I die from a ghost, then cool. Like, I'll be the fucking most famous dude of all time.
I'll take over the podcast in your memory.
Yeah, like Tony died from the Dybbuk box. It was fucking real.
I'll do a logo of you licking the Dybbuk box.
You should do that anyway.
I was gonna do that anyway. Yeah.
Like a Tootsie Pop. How many licks?
How many licks to get to the Dybbuk?
Yeah, and the ghost going like, "Ew," with like a COVID mask on.
That's so funny.
There is an image of the Dybbuk with like a person on its back.
Yeah, like because it's the idea of it just like being like the negative
controls
energy.
Carries you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's. I mean, it's. I feel like these episodes are getting shorter, but there's nothing wrong with that. I think like people see a 45-hour episode and they're like, oh, I'm not going to be here forever.
Yeah.
So we'll wrap it up there for the Dybbuk box.
Should we try the necrophonic just for a little bit?
You want to try it?
Yeah, let's try the necrophonic.
All right. So I downloaded this app, which is a app. I think I'll do the other one first because I think the other one is clearer. The necrophonic I think works better if you have like a speaker attached to it. It's easier to make it out.
Now I already have a sour taste in my mouth about necrophonic just because I've watched some like ghost hunters on YouTube try to like use it and they're just like, oh my god, it said my name, or it's like, no, it didn't. It said blah blah.
So this is another one. This app is called the Spotted Ghost Hunting Kit SGK1, and it comes with ads, which is awesome. I might just pay the $1 or $2 just not have ads anymore. I don't even know how to do it, to be honest with you. But the it's monthly. Fuck you. don't like you that much.
Subscription for our ghost hunting app.
But this one is a little clearer. I think it sounds better. But this is the so a spirit box it circles through a bunch of radio stations, and it supposedly picks up the spirits can use it. Now, I've lived in this house my entire life. I don't think there's any ghosts here, but or entities or anything like that. But I guess if you're into the belief of there's spirits around you at any time, I guess so. If anyone's here, say hi to us. This is not gonna last.
No, it's not.
I'm gonna hate this immediately.
The necrophonic is funnier because it actually says like
I'll try that one.
Well, hey, before you asked who's the lady's name, but Heidi was in here. Like, who's the lady that lives here? And it said the dog. It sounded like it said the dog, and their dog's name is Lady. And I was like, we were like, whoa,
but I have a dog
named Lady. Necrophonic.
All right, let's see what happens here.
What's the man's name that lives here?
Demon.
You.
Me. It's me.
It's you.
See, I'm already a believer.
Yep.
Do you know you're on a podcast right now?
Yeah.
No, that didn't. Yes. Stop it.
Okay.
It's just like church songs to me. Please don't do that.
What is your name? Tom.
I'll go with Tom. His name is Tom.
Why the fuck not?
Never mind, I'm not saying nothing. I think there's a guy who used to live here named Tom.
Shut up.
I swear to God. Are you Tom? Interviews with everyday people. I'm interviewing a ghost.
He does interviews. Would you like to be interviewed? Yep.
It's just funny how the easy ones come out. Yes,
I
no.
know.
Can you say supercalifragilistic?
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious?
Because I can't even say it.
Do you follow his podcast? What's your favorite?
What's your favorite show on the podcast? Yeah, I'm more of a Not Cool in High School fan, too.
What if it just came out and just said, banging beers?
Banging beers. Yeah, so this is kind of the idea of the spirit. We'll leave it running here. You probably won't hear it on the microphone, but yeah.
I think it's fun.
Yeah.
I think it's fun to do. I think it's silly. I mean, I think do I believe that things can manipulate?
I'm gonna one-ear it on this side.
Yeah. Do I think that things can come through and manipulate like energetically to like technology? Of course I do. So
you know what? One of the things I don't buy into though with the ghost hunting is when they do the flashlight trick where they unscrew it just a hair, so if any wind or vibration touches it,
it comes through.
It makes a
just like,
connection, and it's like, turn the light on if you think we're here, and the light turns on, like, oh my God, well, turn it off now if you think. You're like, of course it's gonna fucking turn on and off. Like you're literally have it to the point.
And I'm
where
pretty sure that's been debunked too, because I think the guys from BuzzFeed Unsolved, Shane Madej, already discussed that like there's a way like you do it and like the batteries kind of like whatever. So it's like that's been pretty much debunked. There are like the EMF detectors where like the temperature spikes and whatnot, which I have a temperature like detector and whatnot. And did that just say penis?
I don't know. Here's the thing with this: why does every noise sound like it's from a horror, like a Halloween, like it's like a Halloween soundtrack?
And it's just like where it's just like, and it's like very wispy. It's not like it comes through and just says like tomorrow.
Yeah,
I'm Ted. Like it's just very much like maybe I'll die in 7 days. It's everything is
buy a used car. Like you know what I mean? Like
download the extras of this app. Yeah. It's like. And it does.
You can add reverb to it, too.
That just makes it really hard to understand. It just makes it even spookier.
Or you could add echo to it. Oh. Are you having sex, ghost? We do apologize for the stream cutting out. If you guys do watch the replay, thank you so much. The same thing applies. Definitely share. Let us know. There is an episode of Banging Beers for some reason that it stopped on YouTube, but not on the other streaming sites.
Interesting.
If this becomes a thing where it keeps doing it, we may just record it and then upload it later because it's not very hard.
Might as well. Yeah.
We do. It does suck that we can't, do the chat with you as we're going.
Yeah, I do like the chat,
but we'll figure something out. We'll try it again. If it does it again, we'll have to make adjustments. But thank you guys so much for the ones that were hanging out.
Yes,
make sure you share
you.
this. Let people know. If you guys want, next week I think it's Andy or maybe we'll have Tim come on and do his topic. We're not really sure what next week's topic is, but
just shout out. I was just on Tim's podcast on Saturday. Yeah, we just talked about. We just went down a whole spiritual thing.
Did this show come up?
Yeah, it did.
Did it?
Yeah, absolutely. And that was funny because I was just like, in the podcast I do, Truth Behind Illusion, and Tim and I both went plug, and it was really funny.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Heidi just got invited to do a podcast. I'm dying to get on other people's shows because I'm like, I think it's fun collaborating, and then I've only been invited on 1 or 2 podcasts, and 14 of my friends have them, and then Heidi comes and goes, I was invited on a podcast. Like, I fucking hate you. You know what I mean? Like, you won't even do my show. But, yeah.
Invite Tony on your podcast.
Invite me on your podcast. I feel like I'm entertaining. I won't.
Don't be a pussy. Have him on your podcast.
Yeah, I may hijack it, but I mean, it's just me. I'm going to turn this off. This is annoying me.
Goodbye, Necrophonic.
Bye, Ghost. We'll talk to you later. Yeah, so make sure you share. Check the links below. If I understand everything going on with the COVID, if you don't buy merch, I get it. Times are tough, but if you can, awesome. If you want, once again, I'm not comfortable with donations, but if you want to, it's there as well. Support is just important. I mean, just invite people to the page, share it. That's enough for me. Yeah. If you do buy a shirt, fantastic, because you're going to be a little billboard for us, and I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And if you have an idea for a future topic, hit us up with some. If you want to come join us on the topic, you can do that as well.
Awesome too.
And help us out with that kind of stuff. Anything else you want to plug or get out there?
No. Follow my band, The War Times, and the Tommy Knockers. I make logos and I do tarot cards.
Yep. Maybe we'll do that again soon. We'll do tarot cards.
I want to do some with your dad.
Yeah. What time is it? It's probably 10 o'clock. He's probably in bed.
That's fine.
Did you bring any cards with you?
I think they're in my trunk. But that's fine.
You want to do a reading just between us tonight?
Yeah, why
Mess
not?
around, see what happens. All right,
why
we'll do that off camera. All right, we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
I almost hit end stream right there. I forgot. Here's the music for you. Enjoy. Here's Max Bolton.